Jordan Peterson, not a new face to this channel. In fact, we did a segment some time back with him having a discussion with famous atheist Alex O'Connor. This time, Jordan Peterson is back debating 20 atheists on the Jubilee show. Now, as you can imagine, this was an intense debate from insults.
Look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong YouTube video.
You're really quite something, you are.
Aren't I? But you're really quite nothing, right? You're
To some people's stupidity being displayed on the public and so on and so forth. It had the internet in awe with the types of things that happened. In fact, there was one clip that we're going to be looking at in this video that's been surfacing on all platforms showing that Jordan Peterson lost it and was wrong in this, which I'll give my take as well. So before we begin, like and subscribe, but I want to tell you guys that I do watch a lot of Jordan Peterson's lectures. I take a lot of inspiration from his work. So to remain unbiased in this reaction, we're going to go in the structure as following. I got wrong in this debate, but did he get right? And then finally looking intensely on the atheistic arguments that were brought up. Not all of them, because it's a long video. I don't want to bore you. So yes, let's get into it. Number one.
You're a Christian.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Oh, what is this? Is this Christians versus atheists?
I don't know.
You don't know where you are right now.
Don't be a smartass.
Well,
and I mean
either you're a Christian or you're not.
I won't talk to you if you're a smartass.
Oh, either you're a Christian or you're not. Which one is it?
I could be either of them, but I don't have to tell you.
You don't have to tell me. I was under the impression I was in.
He was constantly pressed to answer the question, was he or is he a Christian, and did he believe in the God of the Bible? Reason being, John used a lot of arguments from the Christian circle, a lot of Christian evidence to kind of question the atheistic mindset, which was nothing wrong in that. However, because the atheists couldn't answer most of the question that was brought, they asked, is Jordan a Christian? Now, this is Jordan, I would say, his strong point. I don't know why he doesn't like professing it, but one of the reasons he does say is that belief should be an action, not something you simply say, to avoid hypocrisy. However, the term Christian is not someone that does all Christ-like things. No, because if that was the case, none of us would be a Christian. Is people who are surrendered to Christ out of reverence. Will you always be a perfect person? Absolutely not. In fact, me, myself, I'm not a perfect Christian. I'm striving to be it, not in a self-righteous way, but in a way that wants to glorify God because of what he's done. A gratitude type of love. Now, I don't know why Jordan doesn't want to answer the question whether he's Christian or not. Be multiple reasons, but truly can only be Jordan that can really tell us that, right? I'm not sure if he ever made a segment saying this, but hey, speculations and opinions will be out there, right? Another part where Jordan fell was when one of the women on the panel asked him, does anyone who portrays self-sacrificial love, are they Christ-like? And Jordan said,
contrary to that would be something like, you give up voluntarily and with courage all the things you need to situate yourself properly in relationship to the future and other people.
Right.
Right. So then there's a harmony. That's why I talked about harmony earlier.
So you navigate your life, right, in accordance kind of to this principle of self-sacrifice. Can I say it in that way?
Yes, you can definitely say it that way. That's exactly right. And navigate is the right term.
So someone does not have to have any awareness of Christ, of the story of Jesus, but let's say 60% of their actions, right, or more, whatever kind of metric you want to use, are in line with this self-sacrificial.
So the Christian thinkers of the Middle Ages dealt exactly with that problem when they were talking about the pre-Christian philosophers, for example. And they noted the similarity, let's say, between pre-Christian Greek thought and later Christian thought, and presumed that there were moral actors outside the Christian domain.
Right. So is that person Christian, though? Is that person Christian?
To some degree, again, that's a matter of definition, because they wouldn't be proclaiming Christian propositions, but they're acting out the pattern.
I disagree, and this is where a lot of Christians kind of be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is some next level, like false fallacy and whatever, right? Rightfully so. What we miss here in this kind of, we must remember, self-sacrificial love is still an action just like any other action that a human being chooses to do, and there's always going to be a motive behind it. I always say that what makes a Christian, or what makes a Christian's actions good or better than an atheist, is the motive behind it. What do I mean? Like giving to the poor can be a good action, but the motive behind it is what really makes the root of this plant more fruitful. An atheist can give to the poor. In fact, they can give way more to a Christian. However, They're just doing it because they want to increase publicity in business or want to appear more righteous and gain more credibility. Now, in that, is it selfish? Yes. Is it wrong in the world standard? No. But it's obviously not something done out of truly goodness, right? Which, if you want a video we're talking what exactly is good, it's something that's a really, really big topic, we can do that. With that all out of the way, in fact, now what did Jordan do right? Jordan presented a lot of arguments, I mean, a lot of evidence, a lot of good explanations to what he was talking about, and he was respectful. Some people said he was rude because he was direct and on to the point, which I disagree. I would say that the insults that were given from the atheists was the actual rudeness that you guys missed out, right? What am I saying? So, just because Jordan was being to the point, it doesn't mean he was rude. And I'm not glazing, but I'm like, think of it logically. You never heard insults at anyone. You never called anyone dumb or whatever. All he did was stick to the issue. And don't put words in his mouth. Like we know a lot of one of the other guys on the atheistic panel, they did try to kind of get Jordan to slip up, which he didn't appreciate, and he noted that. That's not being rude. That's setting boundaries. Rudeness came in obviously when one of the guys, which was the clip we were talking about, said something along the line.
You're really quite something, you are.
Aren't I? But you're really quite nothing, right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
Now, if that's not rude, I don't know what is, right? In fact, this is the part that a lot of the internet is looking at and saying that, wow, an atheist got Jordan, is like a gotcha moment, but it's not actually. In fact, this clip is way more sad. I'm only 21 years old, right? I'm not really super knowledgeable. I'm not really into um, atheists of the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. However, I've seen a couple of them speak, and a couple of them kind of present their arguments to why they don't believe in God. And yes, there was a level of degree of insults, but now I see that the younger atheistic group that we have now is transformed into more of a rebellious, Machiavellian type of movement to not believe in something, even if you find the evidence for it, if that makes sense. Because you really listen to most of the arguments that were, or most of the rebuttals that were there, the atheist was fine at the point of you cannot tell me there is a God, and I can not tell you there is no God. They were fine at that level, but the level in which they would not actually allow Jordan to go through was proving, or rather showing the evidence that there was a God. Right? So what am I saying? So a lot of atheists now are rather take a lose-lose situation than a obviously right or wrong situation, which is sad because now debates used to be about trying to establish truth. Now it's more about who's going to win and who's going to lose, and that's kind of sad to say the least because into the community that appreciates truth, right? Um, it's not something that I personally, yes, the reason why I delayed this video so much because there was so much of insults and this and that going around that I didn't want to get caught up in. I didn't want this video to be based on that type of emotion and that type of thought process. I wanted this to be something that was logical, that was not picking a side, that was not doing anything. So it was very interesting. It was very funny at times. There were some atheists that came and were very humble, like this person and this guy, which were good. However, again, Jordan, I think where he failed was when he couldn't put his finger on which side of the fence he is, right? Sadly. And atheists knew this, they knew the weakness, but hey, it is what it is. So I'm interested to hear your guys' take on it, so don't be shy. The comments down below, put your comments there, put your thoughts there. Let me see what you guys actually have to say. Again, trying my best not to be unbiased. I totally look up to Jordan in the sense it's not in a worshipping type of way, but he's a very articulate person and I appreciate that. So yeah, I try my best. If you guys think I missed out anything, put it down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.